Hello and welcome back to Unapologetically Mum. My name is Emma Hobson, and today I want to talk about how my council, our council, mine and my daughter's council, are trying to get us to sign a legal document that restricts the flexible use of her direct payments and her personal budget. Now, the care plan and the Care Act and the guidance all say that direct payments should be used flexibly and with freedom for the disabled person, to choose how best they can meet their assessed needs. And as long as you are meeting the assessed needs that are written in your care plan, you should be able to choose how you do that. So say for instance you are going to an art class and you change your mind and you think, I don't want to go to this art class, instead I want to go to a woodworking class, and that meets the same assessed needs as like access in the community. Say you might have an assessed need that says that you need help accessing the community or staying in contact with friends and family or something like that, and therefore it still meets your assessed needs. It's still within the budget. You're not going to go over budget because maybe they're the similar price or maybe they're even less, and you can do that and you don't have to tell anybody. It's your right. They want you to tell them, just an obligatory, hey, I'm doing this, and maybe you want to do that and maybe you don't. You have no legal obligation to tell them that, as long as you're meeting the assessed needs and you're in budget. But the council in Northumberland have asked my daughter to sign this document, which I'm going to show you in a second, making me sign a contract that's like legally binding in law, that says that she can only spend it on these itemized things, and that restricts her the full freedoms that she's entitled to. Now, you know, I don't know, have any of you experienced this? And so we had a meeting with the social worker and with the direct payment, what's she called, team, the direct payment team, someone from the direct payment team. And I was saying to them, well, you know, I'm not going to sign this document because it's restrictive. And they were saying, well, this is our policy and you have to sign it. Because it's our policy that you sign this and that you agree to these things. And they're saying, well, no one else has ever brought this up. Nobody's got a problem with it. But, you know, there is a sentence, and I'll show you in a minute, in the care plan that clearly states that you don't have to use it for these things and you can use it flexibly. And so these two documents, one is like a statutory document, which is set out more by the government, and one is a council policy working document, which is how they prefer to do things. So very misleading. We don't want to sign this document, putting us under contractual law to say, yes, we're only going to use it for these things, because why would we? So let me just see my notes here. So yeah, under the Care Act it says, and the statutory guidance, direct payments must be flexible as long as they meet the assessed eligible care needs. And the whole purpose of that is to have choice, control and innovation. The law literally encourages flexible use if it meets the outcomes, and that's super important. But yeah, Northumberland County Council's personal budget letter of agreement demands the money is used only for a fixed list of things, which it states, and yet wants us to sign it. So complete contradiction. So, you know, what do we do when councils are literally trying to rewrite the law through their own paperwork and their own policies? you know, and what effect this has on people. And, you know, they're telling me that nobody that they know of in Northumberland have ever challenged this. You know, I don't know whether that's true. You know, I think maybe people don't know their rights. Maybe people just think, well, that must be right, and they don't check, and they don't know what the Care Act says, and they haven't maybe read their care plan thoroughly and seen the contradiction. I don't really know what's going on, but if that is the case, then like I personally think that Northumberland County Council are misleading people out of their choices and their rights, which I don't think is correct. So I want to just raise some awareness around this so that you know whether to check your documentations. And if you're being asked to sign a legal contract, then, you know, make sure that it's in your favour and it's within actually the law. So, because also, like, you know, we come from a different county, from Surrey. There's been a relocation, and as far as I know, Surrey have never, you know, said we can't use it flexibly, and that's the way we've been used to doing it. And if we didn't check, we could be in trouble because, you know, we might have signed this contract thinking, oh, it's exactly the same, because I've also been told that their policies are no different to any other in the county, in the country. But, you know, they all work differently, which makes it super confusing anyway. And that, you know, we could have just thought, oh, it's exactly the same, carried on, you know, using it flexibly to meet the needs in the way that, like, you know, my daughter feels is best for her and meets the assessed outcomes. And we could have been in trouble, you know, for breaching a contract. So it's really important that things are very transparent and very clear. And I feel at the moment that Northumberland County Council are not being transparent. And I think that's because they want to control things. They say that they have a duty to protect the public money, which, great, okay, but then don't assume that we're all just going to spend it and we're all as thick as shite, you know, and don't know how to meet what the assessed needs, and that we need to be in budget, and that we don't know how to do all those things. You know, it's like, it's not actually rocket science. Some people might need help with it, okay, and they don't have to choose to have a direct payment. They could have a commissioned service and choose not to have this if they feel that they could misunderstand it. But yeah, they basically think we're all thick and we're going to misspend the money, misuse the money, and they feel that they have a duty, therefore, to restrict people's rights and freedoms. So let's... Oh, I knew I had a little sticker on me. I could hear it irritating me. Anyway, so let's have a look at the documents. So just bear with while I get them up. Okay, so let me just get rid of that 1 second. Okay, so hopefully you can see this letter from Northumberland County Council, and this is a letter for personal budget letter of agreement. So it says the letter of agreement is between yourself and Northumberland. It's a legally binding document. Oh, I've just made it go black. Okay, hold on. It's a legally binding document. Okay, and so we'll go down and I'll show you the letter. I've like blacked out some personal stuff because you don't need to see that. So here's the letter of agreement. It's got an introduction. It says that this letter of agreement tells you about the cash payment that you've chosen to receive as part of your personal budget. And here they've listed you have chosen to use the personal budget as follows, and it lists the things and the occurrence, the rate, the weekly cost. It says here, this is in line with your current care and support plan and has been agreed by yourself and your social worker. Your personal budget will be paid, blah, blah, blah. And so Okay, so please sign that you've understood this letter of agreement and the accompanying information about responsibilities and duties. And by signing the letter, you and the County Council confirm that you both understand and will comply with the conditions contained in this letter of agreement and the accompanying information about responsibilities and duties. And so I've read that as well. And so it says, read it carefully. It keeps saying that it's legally binding. So you confirm that you'll comply with the conditions in the agreement, and they're all going to sign it. And so here's the bit about information about responsibilities and duties. So literally, like, you know, I've put this through the AI and said, you know, if I sign this, is this a legally binding document to say that, like, it's restrictive? And it said yes, that if we sign this, we're basically agreeing that we're only going to use it for those things. Okay, so complaints, support, and I've had an extensive conversation with the direct payments team and also with the social worker, saying, you know, is that what that means? And they're saying yes, that you have to agree to only these things and you can't change it, and that's the way it is. And even though I said to them, you know, it says this other thing in the care plan, they just shake their heads, say they don't know what that means, and this is the policy and this is what you have to agree to if you want the funding. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the next bit, the bit in the care plan. So just hold on 1 second. Okay, so here we have a part that I've taken out of the care plan that I have here. It's I don't want to give away anything incriminating. Not incriminating, but that's a personal detail. But let me just turn that up because that's got some information on. But basically it's this document here, and I've highlighted it, and this is what it says in, you can see here it's like part C, and this is what it says on the screen. So and it's the bit that I've put in a box, and it says we've worked out an indicative personal budget for supporting you to live in this way by estimating the cost of the indicative plan set out below. And then it's got those same things, the same things that were on this personal budget letter of agreement. It's got those same things in the care plan. So that's what's set out below, and it says this plan describes one way to organise support from paid care workers to meet your eligible needs. If you choose to have a direct payment, which we are, so that you can organise support yourself, you don't have to make arrangements in the way that we have described, but we will usually expect the cost of your arrangement to be no more than the cost of your indicative plan. If you ask us to arrange support for you, the indicative plan will be our starting point. Your indicative personal budget is an estimate of what a plan for meeting needs such as yours would typically cost. And we may agree that in practice you need a personal budget higher than this, or that you don't need as much. And so there you have it. You have the care plan, the care and support plan, that says this is just one way, you don't have to use it in this way. And then you have this contractual policy personal budget letter of agreement that says actually you have to use it in exactly this way and only this way, which then restricts things, because it's like, you know, oh, just 1 sec, I'll just get rid of this. Yeah, so basically it means, like, you know, say a person's got 10 hours one-to-one support hours. And then also they maybe have, like, they're going to a day centre a couple of times a week, or they're going to they've decided that they want to go to a local group of some kind. So, you know, they'll work out these budgets based on these activities and the one-to-one hours, and the one-to-one hours for, like, you know, help in the home and help getting out and about. And yeah, say you have 10 hours, but like, say you might decide that, you know, to help you meet one of your assessed needs, which could be accessing and making use of the community, or making friends, or keeping in contact with family. It might be that you want to go and meet a friend in your local town, and you are going to a specific event, maybe at night time, maybe it's an all-day event, maybe it's a concert. And this is a way for you to keep in contact with family and friends. And so then out of these 10 hours, you might think, right, you know, I know I want to go to this thing, and this thing is on in, like, I don't know, 3 months time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep back like 1 or 2 hours, and maybe only have like 8 hours one-to-one support. And maybe I won't go to this other thing that I sometimes go to, a singing group or something. I'm not going to go do that, because I want to save up the care hours, because it's going to be a full day. I want to save up the care hours for this thing I want to do in 3 months, because that is, and it's still meeting the assessed need. It's still meeting the same assessed need, or one of the eligible assessed needs within the care plan. It's still meeting that need. And, but, you know, you want to save up those hours. You know, you want to save up 1 or 2 hours a week and accumulate them, so that in 3 months time, you've got a whole day of support. It might be something that you're going to from 8 in the morning till 8 at night, or maybe even a weekend, you know, and you've decided that that's how you need, well, that's what you need to help you live your life in the way that you want to, and you want to use those support hours. Now, you know, it's great. It's great. It's really amazing that the Care Act supports that and recognises that, you know, rather than disabled people being told how they have to live their life, that no, you can only have this and that's it, you can't do anything else. There's a recognition that, like, well, you're probably an expert on your life, and you probably have people around you. You can do it yourself. You can, you know what your assessed needs are, understand what they are, and use the funding in a way that works for you, rather than us professionals, you know, service side people deciding what is best for you. You know, it's common sense. It's great, and we have legislation that supports that. Now, what are councils thinking when they come in and think they can usurp that freedom, squash that freedom, usurp the law that the government has worked hard to put a piece of legislation through, the Care Act 2014, Human Rights Act, Disability Rights Act, all these acts that protect people's rights, that they think they can come in with their policies and working documents and squash that. I don't understand it. I don't understand why they want to do it. I do understand that they've got a responsibility to look after the money. We're not talking about her needing more money, disabled people more money. She's already been assessed, but it's up to her how she, you know, moves that money around, like we all do in our life, you know. And this is money to meet specific disability needs that, you know, that she's been assessed to have. And so where did they get off on thinking they can just do what they want, have that in one document, and then totally take it away in another document? I don't get it. I don't get why they want to do it. I don't get why they're fighting me on it when I'm pointing out that, well, actually your own care and support plan says this, and this document contradicts that. So which one is right? Because I'm not signing, I'm not advising, you know, as Ashley's advocate, I'm not advising her to sign this. I'm not signing it on her behalf. When it's a legally binding document, and it's one that I think goes against Ashley's best interests. So, but unless I sign it, unless somebody signs it, we can't have the budget. So it's a bit of a catch-22. So I have written to the Down Syndrome Society that have got back to me today, and I've just explained the situation, and I said, you know, I don't want to sign it. It doesn't feel like it's a good legally binding document that I want to sign, and they've agreed with me and said, no, you're right to not sign this. And they've they've given me some pointers of, they've actually written a letter for me to send in to them, which I've slightly adapted because there are some other nuanced things that I need in there. So I slightly adapted that letter and sent it off. So I sent it off to the social worker, and I've also sent it off to the direct payment team, the person that came out to meet us from the direct payment team. And then I've also sent it to this Neil Bradley, that's his name. He is the director of so here we are. He is the service director of adult services, Neil Bradley. You can see there he has somebody signing on his behalf. I don't quite know who that is. So I've also asked for transparency about, you know, who's this person signing it on Neil Bradley's behalf, and, you know, what's their job? Who are they? What's that name? I don't know. So I've asked about that as well. And I've CC'd him into the email. I'm wondering whether it's helpful. No, it's probably not that helpful to read the email, because I think it's got some personal bits in. But it basically is an email saying, you know, you've got this, and you've got the care plan that says this, and they go against each other. And so can you please put in this that we're able to use it flexibly, and, you know, and then we'll think about signing it. So let me know what you think about that. Let me know if you've been in a similar situation. Let me know whether you've signed a really restrictive document. Let me know whether your local authority like have these documents that like take, you know, that are like restrictive and taking away people's rights rather than upholding people's rights. I'm hoping that I'm going to get this changed for everybody. So, you know, because it just shouldn't exist as a thing. And so let me know how you're getting on with things like that. Let me know what your document says from your local authority. And if you're in Northumberland and you've signed this and you think it's not right, then let me know, and, you know, try and get it changed so that your person that you advocate for has the rights that our government has given disabled people. They should have those rights. They're their rights, and shouldn't be stripped from councils that want to be restrictive and prescriptive. It's not right. Okay, so I've been Emma Hobson, and I'm unapologetically mum, and I'm not going to stop fighting for the rights of disabled people. Let me know in the comments what you think. Bye for now.